Today our topic is Foundation of Law Studies. Introduction to Law Studies. Okay. Knowledge of law studies. How law studies are conducted. Okay. But first of all, I must give credit to my sources, because this one is one of the most challenging topics maybe I've ever handled. But I must give credit to my sources. Okay, I'm using extracts from manuscripts obtained from top universities that teach law. So these universities like Columbia University of the US, Harvard University, University of Cape Town, and the University of South Africa. Okay. It's not like I'm just dreaming, I'm just maybe guessing. No. Okay. So I must give credit to my sources for this manuscript. Thank you so much. You're most welcome to my show. Let me greet everybody. Wherever you are, you're most welcome. Thank you so much. How are you? Wherever you are. Jambo, jambo. Habari yako, nzuri yako. Okay. Dumelang, sanbonani. Molweni. Okay. Virise, viribo in Zimbabwe. Shona, I must not forget. Virise, viribo. Okay. Yeah. Komshashtabo. Bon dia, Portuguese. Yeah. Comment allez-vous? Bonjour. Bonjour, ça va bien. French. Thank you so much. All right. So, the question that I want to address, okay, in the introduction, foundation of law studies. The questions that must be answered. First, why do lawyers exist? Okay. What are the core jobs of lawyers or core duties of lawyers? Just to give you a picture on that one, it's very, very important. Let me put in the brackets on that one. In fact, in our countries, like here in Africa, it differs from country to country, maybe region to region. But some of the core duties of lawyers, okay, that are being explained in my manuscripts, okay, they are not what we see in our countries. They're very different. Okay. In fact, maybe our lawyers, they do just a small part of their job. There are some core duties that here in our regions, like here in Africa, we don't see our lawyers doing them, but they learn. And in other parts of the world, okay, in the most developed parts of the world, the core duties or jobs of the lawyers are not what we see here. Okay, they are more than that. There is a lot they do, and very different from what they are doing here. Alright, like for example, in the systems like communist countries, okay, usually lawyers, there are different categories of lawyers, okay, due to the systems they are different, but maybe some of them, they are not designated for court, just to operate in courts, okay, but I will talk about those things, don't worry. And the other question that I want to address in the foundation of law that I found so interesting, why law studies take long? Okay. I will answer that question very well, because I have the manuscripts. So, foundation of law studies, why is it important for people to know about law? You don't have to know law, to know the law, or to study the law to become a lawyer. In fact, there are so many people who studied the law but are not lawyers. Okay, and in fact, In some studies, okay, there are many parts of the law that they study, but it's not very much related to the profession of the legal profession. So it's very important. In fact, if, for example, if you are a client, all right, you are a client or a customer to a lawyer, maybe an accused person, okay, and you have no knowledge about the law, okay, it's very difficult for the lawyer to make a case on how to defend the case or how to work out the case with you, to help you, or whatever it is. In fact, like in the case of if you're a politician who doesn't understand anything about the law, it's very difficult for lawyers, if you have personal lawyers, to help you, okay, on how best to handle or to advise you, because anything that he may advise, you may not be able to understand exactly what he's talking about. So it's very important, even if you're not a lawyer, to get to understand, to know, okay, some basic, or foundation of law, of the law, or to have a knowledge of some law or foundation of the law. It's very, very important. Extremely important. So let's not waste time. Let's go straight to talk about who is a lawyer. That's the first question that you must answer. All right. So the definition of a lawyer. A lawyer is one trained person, or a trained person, or an educated person, licensed or certified. That is very important quote to put in the definition. To prepare, to manage, either to prosecute or defend a court action as an agent for another, and who also gives advice on legal matters that may or may not require court action. Okay, so it's very important there in the definition to put certification or licensing. Okay, a licensed person. So lawyers apply the law to specific cases. They investigate facts and the evidence by conferring with their clients and reviewing documents, and they prepare and file the pleadings in court. At the trial, they introduce evidence, interrogate witnesses, and argue questions of law and fact. If they do not win the case, they may seek a new trial or relief, or appeal to another court. Okay, so we will not go much into the terms and definitions, more definitions or terms of. We will go. There will be many videos that I will do about the law studies, where I get a chance, where I understand the manuscripts, and we'll be able to share more about the law studies. Okay, but here, like something like new trial or relief, those are terms, legal terms that may need more clarification, but I will not clarify them now. So in many instances, lawyers can bring about settlement of a case without trial. This is very important. That's why now this one, it answers my second question, which I said, core duties of lawyers. Okay? Some of the core duties of lawyers are not what we think about. So usually in most countries, we think that a lawyer has to go to court, all right? Always. He has to fight hard and win a case, okay? Even where the client is wrong, you see. In fact, a good lawyer does not have to win a case. You can have a lawyer who does not win cases, but is a very good lawyer. A good lawyer must be, okay, a good negotiator. A good negotiator. a very, very powerful negotiator who can resolve a case, okay, involving parties without entering a court. See? Yes, of course, the definition of a lawyer is actually going to court, okay, interpreting courts, okay, dealing with courts. But what the same definition is saying here that lawyers, okay, their core duty, one of the core duties is to resolve cases by negotiation, okay, settlement without trial. You see, reconciliation and compromise. You see, where there is, for example, even the lawyer, when the lawyer is conferring with the client, he can actually know that maybe my client, okay, by the facts that he's presenting, my client, okay, is in the wrong. You understand? So he can reach a compromise to say, okay, this case must be settled out of court. Okay, so he must be a negotiator who can bring in the parties and resolve the case even without going to court, even without going to trials. You see, so basically, this is very, very important. Core duty of a lawyer is intermediate, okay, mediator, a very skillful mediator who can resolve issues and to the satisfaction of clients or to the satisfaction of parties without necessarily having to fight up and down. This is very important, but this is one of the things that we don't see in our countries. We see that maybe lawyers, they will even try to fight, to defend a client maybe who is already on the wrong. You see, and that's not right, because basically a lawyer is supposed to be a very honest person. Okay, this is a responsibility of a lawyer to be very honest. So where the law is clear about it, he does not have to try to circumvent the law. Okay, that is very wrong. Okay, for example, you see, if a lawyer tries to defend a criminal, okay, where the evidence is so overwhelming that this person is a criminal, all right, it means the lawyer is trying to undermine the law. See, so this is a kind of dilemma. All right, I'm mentioning dilemma. Dilemma is actually one of the core objectives of the law studies. Okay, I will talk about it just now, not long. I will talk about the dilemma now about what lawyers study, what they claim law to study. Okay, is where I'll be talking about dilemma. All right, so let's continue. So lawyers have several loyalties in their work, including loyalties to their clients, administrative justice, the community, to their associates in practice, and to themselves. When these loyalties conflict, the standards of profession are intended to effect a reconciliation. Okay, so you see, a lawyer is loyal, okay, to political system, is loyal to the community, is loyal, okay, to, for example, a company, is loyal to certain system. Okay? So sometimes there is a conflict, you see, and him is supposed to be a mediator, all right? He's supposed to be a straight person who should try to resolve the conflicts of interest among parties, all right? So the standards or the rates of lawyers or categories of lawyers. Lawyers vary from country to country. Okay? For example, English lawyers, they are divided into some categories like barristers. Okay? The barristers plead in the higher courts. Okay, like high courts. And then there are solicitors. These solicitors do office work, and they plead with the lawyer. They plead in the lower courts. But in the United States of America, there usually they use a term attorneys, okay, often specialize in limited areas of law such as criminal law, divorce, corporate or companies, probate or personal injury, property, and some are involved in all general practice. Okay, so here we have mentioned about barristers, okay, solicitors, and then attorneys. All right, and the lawyers in the general practice. All right, so if it's possible, you can take notes. All right, thank you so much. Yeah, all right. In France, numerous types of professionals and even non-professionals handle various aspects of legal work. So in France, you don't need to have maybe a certification to be admitted to the bar. All right. In most of the systems of French, in the French system, a lawyer, a trained lawyer does not need certification or admission to the bar. Okay, he can practice. He can practice in numerous types of professionals and even non-professionals, handle all aspects of legal work without having to be certified or admitted to the bar. So the system, most of the times, the system that are used like in South Africa and many parts of the world, the British system where you have to be admitted to that particular system, admitted to the courts, admitted to the bar to practice or to be certified. But still, the definition of a lawyer goes as far as being licensed or certified, okay, to manage, prosecute, defend, be an agent, an intermediator, etc., etc. So, roughly in France, in France, lawyers they are known as, for example, they are known as avocat. Avocat is the rank of maybe the magistrate or a law professor, okay, in English systems. So, like a magistrate or a law professor is known as avocat in the French system. So, roughly, maybe comparable to English barrister. So, the main function of avocat is also to plead in courts. So, in France, as in most civil countries, the examination of witnesses is conducted by magistrate rather than the attorney. You see the difference? You see the difference? In many English systems, lawyers cross-examine witnesses. Okay? It is the job of lawyers. We have already said on the definition of a lawyer there on top, all right? But this is a conflict now. We're saying in French system, lawyers do not cross-examine witnesses, okay? But the judge. You see, the judge is the one who cross-examines, or magistrate is the one who cross-examines, who questions cross-examine the witnesses by himself, all right? So the lawyers have no job in cross-examining witnesses. All they do is take notes when the witness is being cross-examined by the judge himself. I think this is also applicable in some systems of the US, okay, where the judge speaks a lot. The judge asks many questions. Okay, we have seen this on the TV. I think so. All right, no problem about that. So, the system of conducting inquiry, or the system of interviewing or cross-examining a witness by the magistrate or the judge himself is more prevalent in common law countries. Okay, the countries which practice common law. So it's like the French system is at parallel to the common law countries. All right. So basically, when the judge makes presentation or asks questions after then the lawyer will come in to present his own feelings or his understanding of the whole process of cross-examination by the judge himself. Okay, so there is always a whole lot of sharing notes, etc., etc. Right. So it's a process that is very different from system to system. So apart from the avocat in the French system, there are also two other types of lawyers, like avoué and agré. Okay, these are French terms. Okay, but don't worry about them. So most of these people they deal with constitutional matters and procedural, matters of procedure, whether the court followed the procedure or whether the procedure was followed by whosoever was handling matters of the law. So this involves procedures of the law. So we have avoué and agré. These are the types of lawyers in the French system who deal mostly with procedural matters of the law. All right, and they present your oral presentation, and they prepare briefs, negotiate settlements as well. All right. So basically, they say in the French system there are so many things that have changed, but the core foundation remains the same, that of common law countries that are practicing common law are at parallel with the French system. So we cannot say that maybe French system is like, we cannot say that French system is primitive. No, it's just at parallel with the countries that practice common law. So this gives a question to say, what is all about common law? So about common law, I'll discuss in details the categories of laws. Okay, categories of law practices. Basically, in that case, we'll be talking about what types of laws. Okay, laws like, let me give you an example of the laws like, there is the law of delicity. Law of delicity, which is one of the most popular laws in the legal studies. So this is just about foundation of, just to get a little knowledge of what the lawyers study in their education, what they go through, what the law they go through. Okay. In Germany, let's go to Germany. In Germany, it's a little bit different from the common law. The attorney plays a role of smaller court, okay, than is the case in the French system. See? So the attorney makes presentations, okay, and can point out the matters of law, litigation, and liaise with the junior partners, and understand issues of territories, etc., etc. So mostly in Germany, lawyers are employed in high positions of government. Okay, this is very similar to what happens in communist countries. Okay, this is what I wanted to say. That, apart from presentations in court, cross-examinations about dealing with criminals, maybe dealing with court actions in Germany, okay, and other systems that are similar to the German legal system. Lawyers are targeted to be employed in government, in top senior government system. Okay, that's where they work, so that they lay out foundation of work of law and try to make people understand the law. Because sometimes when you are where in the system where you have lawyers at top level, okay, the advantage is that in such countries, people tend to be highly intellectual in terms of they get high literacy in the matters of law. So people follow the law, and their legal system becomes so advanced, okay, so much so that people obey or know the law better than in the systems where lawyers are not given higher positions like senior governments or in the government departments. And this also helps that even the departments, whether the private departments or private organizations or government departments, should be able to have a good knowledge of the law, all right? So that some small mistakes, some mistakes are minimized or reduced. Okay, so there are so many advantages that we can talk about, but in communist countries, lawyers are given high positions, okay, just like to work with politicians, etc., etc. Right. So let's go to the whole scope of law. Why do lawyers exist? Okay, maybe just to understand, or justification to say, justification of the presence of lawyers. Why do lawyers exist? Why do we need lawyers? Before I answer this question, I want to give an example. I want to give a very good example. A real life example. I want to give you a real life example. Here's a real life example. There is a man called Mr. X. Okay? So Mr. X has got a friend. His name is Mr. Y. Okay? So, Mr. X borrowed a car, okay, from Mr. Y. But this car has got a fault. So much so that sometimes it does not take brakes, or it does not stop when applied brakes. Okay? So, Mr. Y unfortunately forgot to explain to Mr. X that, oh, my car is alright, it's working, but it's got a minor fault that sometimes it's got loose brakes that they don't work nicely. Okay, this is a common problem, of course, but sometimes, you know, people know how to handle these problems in most in the car industry. All right. So now it's our general knowledge that government has got the duty to repair the roads, bridges, okay, make them usable to the community, to the people. Okay, that's the job of government. All right, almost in any country, it's the duty of country to repair the roads, to make the bridges usable. Where the bridge is not usable, or is half broken, or is not where the infrastructure, government infrastructure, is not in good condition, government is supposed to maybe close that infrastructure, not to be used by the public. That's the job of government. Okay? Thank you so much. So, Mr. X takes the car from Mr. Y and uses it. So he drives that car at the speed of his desire. Alright? And he drives it as long as he wishes. And it happens that somewhere there is a bridge that has been neglected by government, not repaired, and is half broken. Alright? It is in very bad shape. In fact, it's not usable. Okay? So, Mr. X discovered that, oh, I'm running into a very dangerous trap of a bridge that is damaged. Okay? What does he have to do? He's got to apply brakes, okay, to the car. Unfortunately, at that speed, the car has got a fault, right, that it does not stop, right? And then the car crashes into under the bridge. You see? Big accident, fire, damaged completely, casualties. Okay? And assuming even that there in the car, Mr. X had some passengers, even his own family was there. Okay, passengers, maybe, whatever the case, were there. And then, maybe Mr. X survives, but some of the passengers die. Right? Or Mr. X himself dies. So, there will be questions like, who will be responsible for the death of Mr. X in this particular accident? Okay? Or will Mr. X answer the case of homicide for the dead passengers in the car? What is this? Who is to blame? Government for not repairing the bridge? Is it the owner of the car, Mr. Y, for not telling Mr. X that his car has got a fault? Is it Mr. X himself for taking passengers or for driving at faster speed? Who is to blame? So what is this? This is a dilemma. Alright? This is a dilemma. Without many explanations, I hope we understand now why we need lawyers. You see, that's where lawyers come in. See, this is where lawyers come in. So what do lawyers study? Why does it take very long for lawyers to study? Why law studies take long? Okay, I go back to my analog. Okay, the example I've just given of Mr. X, the dilemma of Mr. X and Mr. Y, the dilemma of a broken bridge, the dilemma of government not repairing the bridge. Okay, so all these things, they go back to that. Why lawyers take long to study. So lawyers or being a lawyer is not just about the law is not just about being a lawyer. The law study is not just about understanding the law, all right, or being able to manipulate the law. Law studies are actually supposed to be deeper than that. It's supposed to be the whole understanding of life, okay, as in the living. Not life as maybe in science or biology, okay, not the biological life, okay, but life as in the living, communities, social life, living together, understanding one another, the society, the instruments and the tools that manage the society, the government, okay, the policing institutions, the frameworks, the courts, understanding deeper dimensions and dimensionalities of the society, social life. What is life as an act of living together? What is a family? Okay, what is the community? What is the general public, general population? What is civilization? What is the grouping? What is the governing, administration, management, leading, leadership, heading? What are subordinates, subjects? What are their roles, their duties? What are rules? Why they exist? Why rules exist? Why are they necessary? Okay? Who keep the laws? Who should keep the laws and the rules? So, what is being right? What is being just? What is being justified? What is wrong? What is being in the wrong? What is being deemed, or what is being deemed to be in the wrong? So how do you feel right? Okay? How do you feel being wrong? What is wrong? What is right? How is being wrong? Who should say that you are right or you are wrong? You see? So you can't find answers to those questions. They are not easy questions and easy answers. So people have different view of the same topic, okay, the same subject in the world. So another person will have a different dimension from the same view. Like the example that I gave, okay, another person will tell you that no, it's the government that was wrong. Okay, another one will say no, Mr. X was wrong. Another one will come in, no, Mr. Y was wrong. Okay, different views. Take example of the issues of matrimony. You see, like in the marriages where people are quarreling, everyone is right, thinks like he's right. Okay, he's got a point, he's presenting a point and thinks that he's right. But who is right and who is wrong? Why you think you are right? Why you think you are wrong? What is to be wrong? What is to be right? You see, why people differ on certain topics? Why people agree on certain topics? What makes people to agree on one thing? What is unity? What is diversity? What are rights? Okay, what are responsibilities, duties? Okay, so it's not just about philosophy or science or philosophy as science. Okay, it is. Philosophy is part of it. Okay, so philosophy itself is part of it. Okay, but that's not the only thing. It goes deeper than that. So lawyers or a lawyer must be a person trained to have excellent analytical skills, the ability to see issues from multiple viewpoints, and be able to consider a topic without prejudice, okay, without prejudge. Okay, excellent composition and writing skill. A lawyer is supposed to be trained or to be training for life. the time that he starts training to be a lawyer, he needs to continue training until the day he dies. See, because the society is changing. And even if your own society is not changing, other societies are changing. See? So a lawyer studies not only his society, but other societies deep enough, studies history, studies the social life of people, okay, systems of government, okay, the changes, diversity, etc., etc., all cross-cutting issues. Okay, a lawyer is supposed to understand them. So a lawyer must be trained to write concisely and clearly on a topic that is very complicated. It's not just about going to school and say, all right, write a composition here, all right, on this topic. Okay, it's more than that. Writing that topic, breaking it down analytically, okay, and making it simple, concise, and clear that can be understood by any other person. Okay, so you see, if you present a topic to me, okay, I will be able to understand that topic, but another person will not understand that topic. You say, what you say? You see, because of the language that you're using, the connotation, the grammar, punctuation, okay, one simple sentence, just due to the punctuation, you'll find that another person will understand it differently. Just because of connotation in the language that you are using, you find that another person will understand it differently. So a lawyer is trained, okay, to be able to communicate, okay, in more concise way, so much so that he can be understood by an average person. All right, that sounds easy, but it can take years for you to train a person to reach that level. A lawyer is supposed to be able to write just as he talks. See, which is to say, a lawyer is supposed to be able to have the energy to write volumes and volumes and volumes of messages, of topics, just as he is living. He should be able to write as he is living. Even publish, a lawyer is supposed to be publishing a lot of books. Even like podcasts, a lawyer is supposed to be making more presentations of podcasts, okay, on topical issues. Okay, so reading, a lawyer is supposed to have excellent reading skill that he can read in more clear fashion that every other person can understand that this person is reading this topic. Okay, and not only reading but also studying. A lawyer is supposed to study a lot and continue studying topics, any topic, whatever it is, whether a topic that of his interest or not of his interest. So he's supposed to read, absorb materials, okay, analyze and synthesize. Okay. A lawyer is supposed to have marketing and persuasive skill, good ability to communicate, and interpersonal. Okay, he should have some humor and interpersonal character. You see, that must be developed. If he does not have a natural character like that, he is supposed to develop that. See, within the training and the study. Like emotional maturity, a lawyer must rise above the topics that he handles, whether it's politics or whatever it is. He must be above those topics and be able to survive in the toughest situation. okay, without using emotions anyhow, without losing emotions. He must be able to use the emotions calculatively. Alright? Not a person with frail mind or frail personality, okay, or the bully type, or a person with fragile ego. That's not a lawyer. So a lawyer must have strict passion for the law itself, to improve the law, to get to synthesize the law, to analyze the law. So a lawyer must have strong working ethics, very, very strong working ethics. So review of the work product, willingness to make changes, improvements, and go beyond the minimum of essential requirements. So a lawyer must build great personal character and not fall victim to abuse of drugs and substance, alcohol, etc., etc. Okay. A lawyer must have a good sense of balance. He must be a person who should be interested in art, music, like movies, acting, theater, politics, different careers, sport. He should be a participant. A lawyer should be a participant, should be a player, soccer player, but a lawyer. Okay? That one is called sense of balance. So lawyers are trained to be participants, okay, in these areas: music, art, sport, like activism, right? And it's all these things is supposed to be. A lawyer is supposed to be participant in those things. Not to say, I'm not. A lawyer must be a participant in sports, in theater, acting, okay? Yes, and it's in the community itself, etc., etc. A lawyer is trained to take part in those things that are very common in the community. It's not like undervaluing, okay, the whole thing about the whole career of a lawyer or profession or legal profession, undervaluing or undermining the legal profession. No, okay? It's a requirement in the legal profession that a lawyer must have interest, okay, in other undertakings like sport, music, art, entertainment, acting, theater, comedy, whatever it is. Right. So lawyers can be employed or can be hired to be management partners, all right? Maybe to work out legal matters involving companies, okay? Or preside over marital disputes, or preside over inheritance, matters of inheritance. So, how can a lawyer preside over or become a partner, management partner, or handle matters of management that arise from legal conflicts. If him as a lawyer does not or did not study management itself, or how can a lawyer, okay, because I'm talking about management like corporate world, okay, running of a company, okay, or running companies, and the legal disputes that arise from the conflicts, okay, from partners or parties or organizations. How can a lawyer, for example, take part in civil rights, okay, or understand civil rights, or present or represent people or his clients on matters of civil rights, if him as a lawyer did not study civil rights or matters or topics of civil rights, not only in his country, but for all over the world? As a matter of fact, a lawyer is supposed to study those matters or those topics from different systems or societies, be it Africa, Asia, okay, Europe, Western Europe, America, be it in the system, communist systems, socialism or socialist systems, communist systems, okay? A lawyer is supposed to have an eye, okay, or understanding of how those topics work in those systems so that he can apply, okay, where need be. So that's how a lawyer is prepared, okay, to be able to understand the governing of a society. So I earlier mentioned of common law. Okay? Common law, which is like traditional law. Common law where some countries don't have the courts like where we have a judge or where we have a formal legal system, formal, well-structured legal system. In other countries, they have a battered one or a chopped legal system where, maybe a judge, lawyers are not supposed to represent, they represent clients, or maybe you have like maybe the chief or the community head becomes the judge, okay? So all the matters or conflicts in the community or in the country, you see that the head of state, even the head of state, okay, maybe becomes the judge. There are countries, in the past, there were countries where the head of state was the chief justice or the chief judge. Yeah, that applies to what is called the common law system. Okay, common law system. Common law itself is a big topic which is studied comprehensively. Okay, how the common law works. So here I'm just sweeping through, just to open up your mind to understand, to see what is the common law in this case. All right. So basically, that answers the question why lawyers need to spend very long time. Okay, need to spend very long time in the law school. But in most countries, there is a problem. Okay, the trainers or the lecturers or educators focus on training lawyers to prepare them to pass exams for licensing and certification. Okay, that one is widely happening in many countries, including Western Europe and Africa. Okay, so basically in most universities, they just, lawyers just educators or trainers or teachers of law, they just focus on training their lawyers to pass the exams that admit them to be practicing lawyers. See? But critics, because a lawyer must also be a critic. If you understand something, you should be able to critique that particular topic. So that actually is a problem on its own, because if you prepare only lawyers to pass exams, to be admitted to the bar, all right, you are only more or less like preparing them to a narrow scope of job, okay, to a narrow scope of their profession, okay. In a normal situation, lawyers are supposed to be trained in a wider scope as well. That's why their legal studies take long. Even foundation itself, only the foundation to understand, to answer this question I've said here, okay, are volumes and volumes of books to study. To understand what I said here, realistically, there are volumes and volumes of books that are supposed to be dealt with. And the questions, like the questions that come during exams, they basically come like a topic, okay? Discuss this topic, all right? This blah 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 topic. Some of them very practical. Let me give you a practical example. So lawyers need to be solving dilemmas like this practical example. Let me give you an example that there is a king, all right? Now this king, we all know that when the king dies, his firstborn son, okay, must inherit or must succeed him. All right, that one even without a will, or where there is a will, that one is straightforward. That is a common law. All right. So this king dies with or without. Okay, this king happened that maybe there was a time when he was young, maybe he was in school or somewhere, okay, and then he had a girlfriend and made a baby, you see, with that girlfriend, but they never married, right? And then after some time, he got married to another woman who became an official wife, okay, and who became a princess to the kingdom. Maybe you understand what I'm talking about. This is a practical example, all right? So the king dies. Now after he dies, as by procedure all over the world, it's well-known common law that when the king dies, the firstborn becomes what? So this particular official wife maybe has got children, firstborn, secondborn, thirdborn, right? But the king's firstborn is that one from the girlfriend, you see. So here's the situation. Who should be the king? After the king dies, who should succeed him? This is big dilemma that lawyers, they spend years in the college to study so that they can solve such type of dilemmas. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Today my episode was Foundation of Law Studies. So I'll be back with more about law studies in the next next episode. Not next I have to prepare very well, but in that episode I'll be talking about the category or the types of laws, okay? So it differs from system to system, but I'll try to break it down, okay? Yeah, basically this is very important because many people will be able to understand what lawyers learn, okay, in a nutshell, okay, what lawyers learn. And it's very important to understand the law. Thank you so much for watching my show, and please subscribe. And for some of you, if you are very interested and very serious, you can also subscribe. You can join my channel and subscribe to me, and I can organize special lessons for you in any subject, in any faculty, okay? I will be able to orient you, okay? Thank you so much. Bye bye.